Welcome back to Traveling Dice. This is Jason. We have the 8th match in our Escalation campaign between the Orcs and Goblins and the Wood Elves. Just as a reminder, we started out at 500 points. We've been increasing each week by 100 points. In addition to adding the 100 points, a player can swap out up to 20% of their army. Each victory in the Escalation campaign awards the player 50 bonus points for the final battle at 1,500 points. The winner of that 1,500 point match is the winner of the campaign. So right now the campaign stands at 4 wins, 1 draw for the Orcs and Goblins, 2 wins, 1 draw for the Wood Elves. For this 1,200 point round, I added 2 Night Goblin Fanatics, 2 Night Goblin Spearmen, 2 Savage Orcs, and added the remaining command, the Champion and the Musician. So the Savage Orcs have full command. They are at 16 strong. We have the unit of Black Orcs, 15 strong, full command, 28 Night Goblins with standard musician, and the additional 2 fanatics added this round, so 3 total fanatics. In that unit are also my characters. I have a Goblin War Boss, my general. He's got the 4-up ward and a great weapon. Got my BSB Night Goblin. He's got a great weapon and the Armor of Destiny, heavy armor and 4-up ward. And then I have my level 2 Shaman. He has the Dispel Scroll and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. In this army I have 3 single trolls, 1 Goblin Wolf Chariot, and 1 Doom Diver. My level 2 Shaman rolled up Itchy Nuisance and Night Shroud. Over to my opponent's army. At 1,200 points, he's added 2 Treekin, rounding that unit out to 7 strong with the Champion. He's added an additional Dryad to the Dryad unit, making that an 18 strong unit with the Champion. His Glade Guard unit is 10 strong, has the Champion and True Flight arrows. He has in his rare slots the Tree Man and the Great Eagle. His general is a level 4 wizard on the Lore of Life. He has the Iron Cursed icon and a bow. The life spells that my opponent has rolled up: we have Awakening in the Wood, Throne of Vines, Regrowth, and the Feared Dwellers Below. We'll see you after deployment. We just finished setup and deployment here. I'll go over the terrain. In my left-hand flank, we have a piece of impassable. Near that, we have a hill. Near my opponent's deployment zone, we have a forest and a hill. In the middle of my opponent's deployment zone, we're playing with a sinister statue. So if you're within 6 inches of that thing, there's a chance you get blasted by D6 strength 4 hits, I think it is. So my opponent placed it on the side that I usually end up deploying on. I think he was hoping I'd end up over there again, but I won the roll to choose sides. So I gave him that side, but he seems to have navigated it okay. We'll see if that comes into play or not. But right now, nobody's within 6 inches. And then my opponent got to place a forest for being a Wood Elf. So within the forest there, behind those trees, you can't actually see them too well, but there's the Tree Man, the Archers with the Spellweaver, the Dryads nearby. Across from those guys, I've got my Savage Orcs, my Night Goblin with all the characters in there, right across from the Dryads. The Trolls are up on that side. And then kind of facing off against the Treekin and the Great Eagle, I have the Chariot and the Black Orcs here. I won the turn to go first, despite the fact that my opponent had a +1. So we'll see you after turn 1. We just finished up the top of turn 1. So my undisciplined Night Goblins here, they fail their animosity and they squabble. So it means I'll have no magic phase this round and they're not moving. So that's less than ideal. I would prefer for those guys to be up there with my battle line. The Savage Orcs do fine and they march forward. The Trolls all pass their stupidity checks and they make a move forward in a similar fashion to the Black Orcs and the Savage Orcs, but kind of hanging back for the general's leadership there. The Black Orcs march up, planning on probably intercepting those Treekin. And my Goblin Wolf Chariot moves up there to kind of threaten that eagle a little bit. During the shooting phase, I am going after my favorite target with that Doom Diver, which are those Archers over here. And my shot deviates 8 inches towards the Dryads. So you know what? Sometimes you just got to roll with that. So I hit the Dryads, and I kill one of those guys. So over to the bottom of turn 1. We just finished up the bottom of turn 1. My opponent's eagle makes a full march move forward and gets to the left flank of my chariot, threatening the Doom Diver. The tree can also make a march forward, and they are right up there near the Black Orcs and the chariot as well. The Dryads make a full march forward. It's just everybody's running at each other here. Unfortunately, my general's units should be there in that gap, but the Dryads move up towards the trolls and the area on line with my general's unit. The tree man also marches forward out of those forests, and the archers advance too for range on their spells. So everybody's moving up. We go over to the magic phase. My opponent rolls a 6 and a 4. He's got 10 power dice to my 6 dispel dice. Neither one of us channel. My opponent then throws 4 dice at Throne of Vines, and I decide to use all my dispel dice to stop that, thinking that I still have the scroll for Dwellers. So I stop that with my dice, and my opponent then throws 6 dice at Dwellers, targeting my general's unit. His favorite target for that. Makes sense. And he rolls well, but it doesn't go off irresistibly, and I use the scroll. So his magic is neutralized during the first turn. However, he does get the scroll out of me. We're over to the top of turn 2. We just finished up the top of turn 2, and it's action-packed here. The chariots and the Black Orcs charge the treekin. The trolls, they all pass their stupidity check. The night goblins pass their animosity, and the savage orcs pass their animosity as well. It's almost like we're a normal army. All 3 trolls declare charge on the Dryads, but this troll here only needs a 4 to make that charge, rolls a 3, which is a bummer. You know, I would have had all 3 trolls in there. That probably would have made a little bit of a difference. In the remaining moves, I charge the tree man with the savage orcs, and the night goblins move up. And you know what? They never like those trolls anyways, so they're just sending the fanatics through the trolls to hit the Dryads. Despite that, so when you do something like that, it means you're going to need a smaller number to get them through. Normally you need an 8 to hit the unit. In this case, a 7 definitely does it, and a 6 is pretty close, but I don't think a 6 is just slightly short, but a 7 does it. So I send all 3 fanatics at that unit. On average, they should make it through. Only 1 makes it through, so that fanatic goes through. Now, it's going to hit my trolls, but I got regen in my hip pocket, so that fanatic actually doesn't do any damage to the troll and manages to kill one of the Dryads. So, you know, I'll take that. The other ones are just kind of gumming up the works here. We go over to the magic phase, and I roll 11 for the Winds of Magic. And yeah, I'm sitting on a bunch of dice. I wish I had better spells at that point, but I'll throw 6 dice at the Ruby Ring of Ruin, targeting the archers. My opponent throws all 6 of his dispel dice at that. He has no respect for my other spells, and probably justifiably so. So he dispels that. With my remaining dice, I go ahead and make this tree man itch. I throw Itchy Nuisance on him, only reducing his initiative by 1. I think that's actually good enough, though. I think he's only initiative 2. So the Savage Orcs are going to strike first, for whatever that's worth. And then we go over to the shooting phase. My Doom Diver decides, hey, it's been a while since we did a misfire. So yeah, you know, our life's on the line. We got Eagle bearing down on us, but hey, why don't we just mess around here and misfire? So they don't blow themselves up. I'll give them that. They roll a 5 and yeah, just send a guy into the hill and kill him. So we'll see how you guys fight an eagle, I guess. And then we go over to combat. The Black Orcs are going to use the great weapons in this combat. The impact hits, I roll a 1. So they got the scythe wheels. So 2 impact hits. They actually get a wound through on that. You know, not bad. I'm way away from the general. So that unit fails its fear check. Despite failing my fear check, I need 5s to hit. One of the wolves hits, but fails to wounds. All 3 of the goblins. It's like, oh, they almost fight better scared. I don't even get it. All 3 of the goblins hit. I roll 2 5s and a 6. And I fail to get any of the wounds through, but, you know, it's worth the story, I guess. And then the tree can go and kill themselves. 3 Black Orcs. I think the 4th one was with the stomp. And then the Black Orcs, we're using the great weapons. So we're coming in with strength 7 here. And they chop down a couple of these guys. I actually win that combat by a fair amount. I charged, I have a rank, I have a standard, and I did more wounds than my opponent. I think he needed a 3 to hold. He rolls Snake Eyes. So that combat will continue on. We go over to the Dryads fighting the Trolls. And my opponent has to divvy out attacks here. Those are 2 separate units on the trolls. He does 2 wounds to the troll to the left. He does 4 wounds, just goes off. He actually did fewer attacks on that troll on the right, but got 4 wounds on that troll. I roll my regen saves and I get 3 6s and a 4. That guy just comes out just squeaky clean. I decide to go and kill 4 dryads. So I win that combat. He's steadfast. He holds. And then we go over to this combat here with the tree man. Man, and the tree man is just, he's tough. I don't get any wounds through. He kills a bunch of guys. I'm steadfast and I hold. So we're going over to the bottom of turn 2. We just finished up the bottom of turn 2. The eagle charges the doom diver. There's not much movement actually after that. So we go over to magic. And my opponent rolls double 3s for the magic phase. And neither one of us channel. He's got 6 dice. He throws all 6 dice at dwellers. And there's not much I can do to stop that. I throw my 3 dispel dice, hoping to get double 6s, but no such luck. And yeah, my guys are just devastated here. I lose 16 Night Goblin Spearmen and the Shaman. So I guess I should be thankful I didn't lose the General or the Battle Standard Bearer. And then in the shooting phase, the archers just want to keep punishing this unit, and they take out another 4 Night Goblin Spearmen. So I pass all my panic checks during the magic phase and shooting phase there. And we go over to the combat, and the Great Eagle is just hungry for Doom Diver and just takes out that crew, 2 with the attacks, 1 with the stomp, and just kills him. So that guy's going to be removed, and the Great Eagle reforms. We go over to the Treekin combat with the Black Orcs, and man, the Treekin just... their dice go ice cold on them. They only kill 1 Black Orc, so they're in a tough spot. And my Chariot Wolves, they both hit, and they need 6s to wound, and they both wound, like double 6s on the wounds. And then he fails his armor saves and his ward saves. The Wolves on my Chariot do 2 wounds. So you can't ask for much of a better start than that. The Goblins, though, are just apparently busy cheering on those Wolves because they don't do anything. And then the Black Orcs do a few more wounds. So I end up killing 2 Treekin, winning that combat by a ton, and my opponent breaks. So we're actually going to remove those Treekin. The Chariot rolled a 12 for its pursue, so the Chariot's going to be way up there. And the Black Orcs rolled a 9, so the Black Orcs will end up being way up there as well, kind of near that statue, so maybe that will come into play here. We bounced over to the Dryad combat. And the Dryads, the Trolls regeneration is just staying hot. That one guy on the right makes 2 more regen saves, so he's flawless. He's made 6 in a row, just unheard of. I beat the Dryads, so I kill 4 Dryads and break that unit and run them down. So the Dryads will be removed. The Trolls pursue. Now the Troll on the left pursues into that Fanatic, and the Fanatic kills the Troll. So the Fanatic gets killed, the Troll gets killed, the Dryads are getting removed. The Troll on the right is in his final spot near those archers there, but very far from the General's unit, so we'll see what the stupidity does. We go over to the Tree Man. Now, I lost that combat last turn, so I'm no longer frenzied. And then I'm no longer getting the +1 strength from the Choppa rule, so I'm kind of in a tough spot here. I still managed to get a wound through on the Tree Man, so I actually did better than I did last time, which is kind of head-scratching. And he kills 3 of my guys. I'm still steadfast, so I hold over there. We're going over to the top of turn 3. Just finished up the top of turn 3. The Black Orcs do a swift reform. And unfortunately, I'm kind of stuck right now by that statue. He didn't do anything to me this round, so he identified me as a friend of his former master, which is cool. Hopefully that continues. The Chariot also trying to get back in position to hopefully damage something. This Fanatic went and rolled doubles, so he ties his chain around his neck and just strangles himself there. This Troll and the remaining Night Goblins move up towards the archers. My Troll that's out on his own fails his stupidity check and is just stumbling towards the board edge over there. The magic and shooting phase are not relevant for me anymore, so we go into close combat. We had this combat with the Savage Orcs. The Savage Orcs just can't get anything through on that Tree Man. The Tree Man kills 2 Savage Orcs, so just beats me by 1 because I have the standard. And despite having the reroll, I fail both leadership checks of 8 because I still was steadfast. I had 5 guys, so that's too bad. My opponent wisely chooses not to pursue. So he does his leadership check not to pursue, to restrain, and he passes that. Not surprising, he's leadership 10, which means the standard just dies because he's fleeing, and I only have 4 guys left. So the tree man reforms and faces off against my night goblins there that are bearing down on his archers. Going over to the bottom of turn 3. Just finished up the bottom of turn 3. The eagle made a march move over to the right flank of the chariot and is in position there. The tree man charged the night goblins in the flank. The archers moved up to be in a position to shoot at the savage orcs potentially. My opponent recognized that if he killed one more of those guys, they'd be below 25% and would need Snake Eyes to rally. So there's that. Magic phase, my opponent rolls boxcars. He's got 12 dice, so it's a rough spot. He gets Throne of Vines through. I let it go. He only used a couple dice. He throws Awakening at the Woods, which is going to do D6 Strength 6 hits on the Savage Orcs. I stop that with all my dice. And then he does Dwellers on that unit to kill the one guy, which knocks it down below 25%. So that was the magic phase. In the shooting phase, he no longer needs to worry about the Savage Orcs so much. He puts some shots on that troll. Not even the whole unit could see him. Only 8 guys were able to shoot, but he still gets 2 wounds through, which is great. The tree man goes through. My 2 characters make way in that combat, and he kills the BSB. The Thunderstomp took out 3 night goblins, but my general, just working on chopping this tree down, does 3 wounds with his 4 attacks. Very impressive. And that unit, my unit still loses. It's close, but I'm steadfast and I hold. So going over to the top of turn 4. We just finished up the top of turn 4. The troll fails his stupidity check and just goes forward 2 inches towards the archers, which is a bummer. The other troll fails his stupidity check as well. This fanatic goes 11 inches off the board. The Savage Orcs fail to rally, needing Snake Eyes. Not much of a surprise. The Goblin Wolf Chariot swings around and kind of fast and furious action here. Tail fins in facing the eagle and shoots at him and misses. The Black Orcs. Now we realized we missed a turn rolling for the Sinister Statue, so we rolled twice. Both resulted in doing D6 Strength 4 hits and killing a total of 7 Black Orcs. Just brutal. So that unit's whittled down to just the command. Ouch. And we go over to the combat with the Tree Man, and the Tree Man just goes off. He kills a bunch of guys. Removed them already, but he does 4 or 5 wounds. I do 1 more wound on him, so chipping away, but he beats me. And yeah, I break from combat. So I think I needed a 4 to hold. And I don't make it. So I do get away, but I'm going to have a hard time rallying because that unit champion's still there. So I'll need Snake Eyes to rally that guy as well. And he's kind of running towards the Sinister Statue. So that's not great either. So rough spot for the Orcs and Goblins here. Going over to the bottom of turn 4. Just finished up the bottom of turn 4. The Great Eagle charges the Chariot. The Tree Man charges the Troll in the flank. First, actually, he charged my General's unit. He had to flee. My General's unit flees through the Black Orcs. And then he redirected into the Troll. The Archers reform to face the Black Orcs to go over to the Magic phase. And my opponent rolls 10 for the Winds of Magic. Just brutal. He gets off Throne of Vines. I stop Awakening the Woods, and then he does Dwellers on the Black Orcs, and he kills 2 of those guys. Just the standard was left. Go over to the shooting phase. The Archers polish off that Black Orc standard bearer. The Black Orcs are no more. In the combat phase, my Chariot, just holding its own. He takes 1 wound, but puts 2 wounds on the Eagle. Nice job, Chariot. Take that all day long. And the Tree Man just finishes off my Troll. He only had 1 wound left, so the Tree Man then reforms. Going over to the top of turn 5. We just finished up the top of turn 5. The Savage Orcs again failed to rally and are off the board. They're going to be removed. The Troll failed his stupidity check and went off the board. I don't actually know the rule. If you fail stupidity, do you stop at the board edge? We just took him off, but probably not worth looking up. I don't think it's going to impact the outcome of this game, but if you happen to know the answer to that in the comments, go ahead and post it. Otherwise, maybe I'll look it up later. And the chariot, my chariot here took no wounds in that combat and polished off that eagle, reformed. This chariot's just like, oh, we can take this Wood Elf army on. No problem. My general's unit failed to rally. Didn't get blown up by the statue, so that's cool. And going over to the bottom of turn 5. Well, we just wrapped everything up. In the bottom of turn 5, the tree man polishes off the chariot, the magic, awakening the woods, another stellar magic phase, rolled like 11 power dice. So awakening the woods polishes off the last night goblin. Then in my turn, the war boss fails to rally and tries to run off the board. The statue puts a wound on that guy. And then in the bottom of turn 6, the archers move up and long bomb, shooting at my general. Despite the forward board, they put the last 2 wounds on that guy. So he tables me in the bottom of turn 6. So a nice victory for the Wood Elves. Nice back and forth here. Hopefully you enjoyed this battle and this video. If you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Bye for now.